My name is Ray. I would like to show you how Ray's bridge game plays the hand. I am assuming that you have watched the two videos on bidding in Ray's bridge game, Introduction to Bidding, and Editing the Bidding Rules. This video will skip some things already explained there. When I decided to write a game that bids according to a set of rules, I decided to have it play according to a set of rules also. I thought, people evaluate a hand in some way when they play, and people can play very well. Why can't a set of rules use a similar process? In a minute, I would like to show you what I have developed, but I want to point out that the set of rules that comes with the game is not complete. The game only plays no trump. If called upon to play a suit contract, it does so with no trump rules. The results are not all that good. I intend to add rules for suit contracts as soon as I can. Anyone is free to write their own set of rules. You can use the set of rules that come with the game as a starting point, or you can start from scratch. Either way, whatever you create is yours to do with as you like. First, let's set up the game to play this deal. Rather than letting the rules bid, we will just set the contract for the deal. Right-click the right arrow to bar to set the contract manually. A Set Contract to Skip Bidding window will come up. One no trump is good for the contract. Select East as the declarer. Click Play this contract. It is South's turn to lead to the first trick. There are two ways South can play a card. The user can select the card by clicking on the card in South's player panel. The user can allow the rules to select the card by clicking on South's play in the control panel. Let's look at the user selecting the player's card first. It is the simplest. The setting Other Players' Cards in the Rule Set panel affects the way the player's cards are shown and the way the user can play them by clicking on them. If Other Players' Cards is set to show, all cards are shown as dealt, and you can select the card for any player to play. If Other Players' Cards is set to either hide or infer, only the bottom seat is shown as dealt, and you can only select the card for the bottom seat. After the first card is played, dummies cards are shown as dealt, but you cannot select a card for dummy to play. There is one exception, when the bottom seat is either dummy or declarer. In that case, the bottom seat's cards are shown as dealt, and you can select the bottom seat's card. After the first card is played, the top seat's card are shown as dealt, and you can select the top seat's card. If Other Players' Cards is set to hide, the remaining two players are hidden. If Other Players' Cards is set to infer, the remaining two players' cards are shown as inferred by the player at the bottom. What is meant by the cards being inferred by the player in the bottom seat? On each player's turn to play, the player creates two views of the deal, an actual view and an inferred view. The actual view is copied from the game. This view is the same as you see with Other Players' Cards set to show. The game keeps up with cards, tricks, and cards on the table. The inferred view is created by the player based upon the information they know. The cards in their hand, the cards in dummy's hand, the point counts inferred from the bidding, the suit links inferred from the bidding, the high card count each player has played, which cards each player has played, which players have shown void in a suit. Note that the player does not know the cards in dummy's hand until after the first card is led. If the player is dummy, the player knows declarer's hand after the first card is led. The inferred view is the same as you see with other players' cards set to infer. Keep in mind that the view you see is the cards as inferred by the player in the bottom seat. The other three players have their own inferred view, which undoubtedly differ from each other. As play progresses, a player gathers more information, and the inferred hands should more closely resemble the actual hands. The ideal would be that the inferred view resembles the actual view so closely that the rules select the same card using either view. If the rules choose a player's card, the rules can use either the player's actual cards or their inferred cards. Which cards the rules use depends entirely upon the setting of rules used in the rule set panel of the main screen. Setting rules used to actual cards is good for studying a deal. Setting rules used to inferred cards is good for practicing your play. With other players' cards set to infer, notice West, North, and East's cards. They are as South has inferred them. They are shown grayed out to indicate their uncertain status. Let South play. As dummy, West's cards are now shown as dealt. North and East cards are still as inferred. Because Hearts was led, only West's Hearts are displayed as normal. The other suits are grayed out. West's card cannot be selected. Let West play. South and West are shown as dealt. North and East are shown as inferred. I want to point out that when a contract is set, a player does not have much to go on in building their inferred view of the deal. When a deal is bid, the player has the benefit of knowing point counts and suit links. When I set a contract to a specific value, it is because I am studying the deal. In that case, I always allow the rules to use the actual cards. Having them use the inferred cards really does not reveal anything about the deal or the rules. Left-click the left arrow to bar to go back to South's opening lead. Set other players' cards to show. The playing rules decide which card to play by testing the information a player knows. To understand the kinds of information a player knows, let's look at some of the tests the rules can make. Edit the set of playing rules. Edit the first assessment that contains rules. There are 5 action rules that use tests. Clicking on any of these commands in the right panel will bring up a window for adding a new rule of the type selected. Click on the first command. This is a Write a New Conclusion window. This window builds a new rule that ends in a conclusion. The conclusion may be changed from positive to negative. All of the windows for writing a new rule are the same in terms of the information available to test. The only difference between the windows is the rule being created, and the title is set differently to reflect the type of rule being added. All of the information a player knows is listed in the 8 selections contained in the 2 lines beginning with information about. The lines below those 2 list the assessments that may also be tested. There are two basic types of information known to a player. There is information known by observation, and there is information known by examination. First, let's look at some information a player knows by observation. Click Someone and select Playing Order. A player knows their playing order at the start of a trick. They know it on the first trick by their relation to the declarer. They know it on subsequent tricks by their relation to the winner of the last trick. Click Action and select Winner of a Trick. If a player is leading the trick, the winner will be myself. Otherwise, the winner will be left opponent, partner, or right opponent, depending upon the relationship of the current player to the player whose card is the highest on the table of the suit led. If other values are selected, declarer for instance, the value is translated according to the player's relationship when the test is evaluated. Click Contract and select Trump Suit. This will be useful when I begin adding playing rules for suit contracts. Click Card and select Card on a Trick. When looking at a card on a trick, both the card and trick can be referenced in several different ways. A player knows the card led from watching the play. Click Suit and select a suit someone used. By watching the play, a player knows the suits as they are used by the other players. Click Bid and select a previous bid. By remembering the bidding, a player knows how the bidding went. Click Trick and select number of times a suit was led. By watching the play, a player knows the suits led. All of this information and much more is known by a player just by watching and listening. But there is some information that cannot be known by just being aware of what is happening at the table. Some information can only be learned by examining the cards held and observing certain relationships between them. This window has gotten too busy with tests. They could be deleted one by one, but it is quicker to cancel adding this rule and open a new window. This time, let's try the second command. Set a suit, card, or trick preference. This command creates a new rule that sets a suit variable. In this default case, the variable best suit is being set to spades. There are 8 built-in variables that can be set, plus the writer of the rules can add more using whatever names the writer wishes. In addition, the variable being set can be changed to a card variable or a trick variable. There is a variety of values that you can use to set best suit. A suit by name, a suit by nickname, a suit variable, a previously bid suit, the suit of a played card, the suit of a card variable, a suit someone used, a suit with a particular attribute. Now, let's look at some information a player knows by examination. There are 7 types of information that a player learns by examining the suits as they are held. This chart lists the 7 types and how to use them in a test. There are possible tricks. This is the number of tricks each player could possibly take in each suit if the cards are played in a specified manner. Click Suit and the number of tricks someone can take in a suit. Sure tricks. This is the number of tricks a player can take with their high cards. Click Suit and select number of tricks someone can take in a suit. Entries. An entry is a player having a low card to lead the partner's winner. Click Suit and select number of entries someone has in a suit. Finesses. A finesse is an attempt by a player to gain a trick from a lower card based on the placement of the high cards in the suit. Click Card and select a card that can be finessed. Blocked suits. A player is blocked when their partner prevents them from running a long suit. Click Suit and select whether someone has a suit blocked. A player is stopped when an opponent prevents them from running a long suit. Click Suit and select whether someone has a stopper in a suit. Distribution. The cards may be in a special alignment that lends itself to a particular play in a way not covered by preceding types of information. Click Suit and select Suit Distribution. Cancel the Write a New Conclusion window. Quit I have a card to lead in No Trump. Quit the editor. This information is collected by examining the cards held by all of the players. So let's see how this information is collected. It is Sal's turn to lead to the first trick. The game has already collected those 7 types of information for South. To see this information, click on South in the player panel. This brings up a Values Set for South window. The information being displayed is Possible Tricks. The top line references the information as possible/discard tricks. We will see in a minute what discard means. The information on this page is divided into 4 sections. Possible trick counts, win-lose, tricks per pass per leader, and suits. Of these 4 sections, the most important is the last. The other 3 sections are simply the information from the 4th section presented in different ways. So let's look at section 4. The suits section is divided into 4 sections, 1 for each suit. Each suit section contains, under the suit name, a short header showing the cards left unplayed, the seats holding the cards, the length each seat holds in the order north, east, south, west, the number of total and contested tricks, any cards currently played on the table. Below the header, each suit is divided into 4 sections, 1 for each seat as lead. starting with the seat that owns the window, south. For each different seat leading, there is a line showing the number of possible tricks north-south can take, the number of possible tricks east-west can take, the order of the winners of each trick, the order in which each side takes tricks. There are two columns. The column on the left represents the suit being played out as if the seat specified leads to every trick. That is, when south leads, south must lead every trick regardless of the winner of the previous trick. If the seat that is supposed to lead is out of cards, the lead passes to the next seat having cards in the order their partner, their left opponent, their right opponent. The cards were played into tricks using a tree search algorithm that maximizes the number of tricks each side can take while showing a preference for taking winners as early as possible. The column on the right is played the same way, except that the suit has had the player's lowest card discarded before being played into tricks. In this case, since this is a value set for south window, the 7 has been discarded from south's spades. The column on the left is called the possible tricks column. The column on the right is the discard tricks column. To see how the cards were played into tricks, change Show to Headings and Play 2. Look at spades with south leading. There are a total of 4 tricks in the suit. Each trick is diagrammed with one line for each player's holding, the leader at the bottom. Following the layout of the hands are the cards played and the winner of the trick. South started with only 3 cards. South cannot lead to the 4th trick. Applying the order described above, South first checks their partner, North. North is void. Then South checks their left opponent, West. West has 1 card left and so becomes the leader. The line under the suit name and leader name lists each side's number of tricks, the player order in which they were taken, and the number of tricks taken in each of the first 3 passes of play. The tricks are divided into passes according to the side taking the tricks. In this case of south leading spades, east takes the first trick, west takes the second trick, west takes the third trick, west takes the 4th trick. That is pass 1. There are no cards left for a pass 2 or pass 3. From the player, South's point of view, they lose 4 and win 0 when South leads. In fact, they lose 4 and win 0 no matter who leads. Let's scroll down and look at clubs. The discard column is derived by discarding the 2 from South's hand. You can see the difference a discard makes by looking at West leading. The discard of the 2 by South means that North-South goes from losing 2 tricks and winning 1 to losing 4 tricks when West leads. The tricks in the left column, the possible tricks column, are divided into passes as follows. East takes the first trick, West takes the second trick. That is pass 1. North and South lose 2. North takes the third trick. That is pass 2. North-South win 1. East takes the fourth trick. That is pass 3. North-South lose 1. From South's point of view, they lose 2, win 1, lose 1 when West leads. But if South discards the 2, they lose 4 when West leads. This information is not of real use in this place since South is leading. This column is, of course, of more use when a player is not leading and is void in the suit led. Let's scroll back up to the top. Now we can see from where the information in the first 3 sections is derived. Section 1, Possible Trick Counts, displays the number of tricks each player can take in each suit depending upon who leads. Look at North leads, for example. The values on the left are from the left, the possible column of the suit section. The values on the right are from the right, the discard column. Look at the values in the possible trick count section for each player in spades when North leads. Compare these with the first line in the suits section under spades, North leads. North, South, 0, East, West, 4. You can see in both places that East takes 1 trick, West takes 3 tricks. In the totals column, if North leads, North can take 4 tricks, South can take 2, East can take 5, and West can take 7. That is 18 tricks. Someone will be disappointed. The idea is for you and your partner to turn more of your possible tricks into actual tricks than your opponents do. Notice that North and South have the possibility of taking 6 tricks if either North or South leads, but they have the possibility of taking 7 tricks if East leads and 8 if West leads. Sometimes it is not necessarily a negative for the opponents to have the lead. Section 2, Win-Lose, shows the number of tricks each side can take in each suit in the first 2 passes. The win-lose designation for each pass is, of course, from the perspective of the player owning the window, in this case, South. Section 2 also shows the total number of tricks the player's side and their opponents can take. Obviously, this number can be larger than the number taken in the first 2 passes. Again, the left column reflects the counts from the possible column in the suits section. The right column reflects the counts from the discard column. When a player is discarding, this section makes it easy to see the effects a discard has on each suit. We can see from the left column of the chart South's perspective on each suit. No matter who leads, North-South will lose all 4 tricks. In hearts, if North-South can force out East-West top card, North-South can take 5 tricks. In diamonds, North-South holds a 1-win stopper. In clubs, it is better to let East-West lead. Section 3, Tricks per Pass per leader. Since the number of tricks each side shows the number of tricks each side can take in each of the first 3 passes, The information in this chart is not as useful as the previous two charts. It is only tested in a couple of places in the rules. There are two other types of information on this page that are collected separately from the playing of the cards into tricks. They are included on this page for convenience. They are sure tricks and blocked suits. Again, the two columns represent possible and discard values. Sure tricks counts the number of tricks a player can take just by leading their high cards. Notice that there are two values for the total number of sure tricks, 8 and 8. The first value is the number of possible sure tricks. The second value is the number of probable sure tricks. Probable sure tricks is the number of possible sure tricks minus any sure tricks from a player who is left out. A player is left out in no trump if they do not have the lead and they have no winners in suits held by the other three players. For example, suppose North has the 2 and 3 of spades. They are sure winners because everyone else is void. North also has the 2 of hearts, the 2 of diamonds, and the 2 of clubs. East has the lead. North is left out. North has 2 possible sure tricks and 0 probable sure tricks. In the deal we are currently examining, no player is left out, and sure tricks shows that South can take 1 trick, East can take 3, and West can take 4. That is 8 tricks. That leaves 5 tricks up for grabs. Note that there is only one sure tricks chart. This is because sure tricks is the same value no matter who leads. Blocked suits shows that no one is blocked from running a long suit. Let's change information displayed to entries and stoppers. The entries chart shows that East and West have plenty of ways to move between hands. North and South are not so fortunate. South has an entry in diamonds, but diamonds is a 1-win stopper. However, North-South may create some entries for North in hearts. In the stoppers min count chart, East has a stopper in hearts, and South has a stopper in diamonds. North almost has a stopper in clubs. Because of the distribution, North really needs a 4th card to protect the queen. Finally, let's change information displayed to finesses. There are 5 types of finesses defined. They are ranked according to their dependability to produce an extra trick. Type 5 is the best. East has a Type 2 finesse in diamonds. Change information displayed back to possible discard tricks. This is all of the types of information except one, distribution. This information is not collected before a player plays. It is gathered when a rule actually tests the distribution of the cards. We have seen the information the game collects and how it is tested in a rule. Where is the information used to perform the tests? Here are 4 examples of a test to be made and its representation as a rule. All of the information being tested can be found on the possible discard tricks page from the values set for South window. You can test the number of sure tricks. If the number of sure tricks I can take in all suits if I lead is greater than 0, and you'll find that answer in the sure tricks chart for South. Now it'll be that test would be true. 1 is greater than 0. If you want to test the number of possible tricks, if the number of possible tricks they can take in all suits if I lead is less than 2, the possible tricks they, East and West, can take if South leads is 12. The test will be false. 12 is greater than 2. Test the results of the first 2 passes in a suit. If diamonds is a possible win 1, lose 1 suit if left opponent leads, and we would find that in the win-lose chart, diamonds, left opponent leads, is a win 1, lose 1. That would be true. You can test a suit being blocked. If partner has hearts blocked with 1 high card and 1 low card is yes, that test will be false because none are blocked. Now let's look at 2 more features that the game provides for writing playing rules: Boolean variables and suit attributes. A Boolean variable stores a true or false value. A suit attribute stores a true or false value about a specific suit. The writer of the rules creates Boolean variables and suit attributes and assigns their names. Close the values set for South window. Edit the set of playing rules. Configure Boolean variables. Click on I have sure tricks and then select where set. This Boolean variable is set in the assessment Set Boolean Variables 1.1.1. Click on the assessment to edit it. The first rule in Set Boolean Variables 1.1.1 sets the variable I have sure tricks to true by testing the value of sure tricks, which was determined by examination. Quit Set Boolean Variables 1.1.1. Click on I have sure tricks and then select where used. This Boolean variable is used in the assessment I want to take my winners 1.1.5. Click on the assessment to edit it. I have sure tricks is used in 2 rules. In the first rule in which it is used, the variable is tested to be false. In the second rule in which it is used, the variable is tested to be true. Quit I want to take my winners 1.1.5. Quit editing Boolean variables. Now let's look at a suit attribute. Configure suit attributes. Scroll down and click on Is my only suit with sure tricks. And then select where set. This suit attribute is set in the assessment Set Suit Attributes for Temp Suit 106. Click on the assessment to edit it. The first rule in Set Suit Attributes for Temp Suit 1 sets the variable Is my only suit with sure tricks to true. Since this rule sets the suit attribute for Temp Suit 1, the value of Temp Suit 1 must have been set before this assessment was run. In fact, this assessment was called from a higher assessment which set Temp Suit 1 to each suit, one at a time, before running Set Suit Attributes for Temp Suit 1. Quit Set Suit Attributes for Temp Suit 1. Click on Is my only suit with sure tricks and then select Where Used. This suit attribute is used in the assessment, I want to play my lowest card, 1-1-1. Click on the assessment to edit it. The suit variable best suit is tested for the suit attribute is my only suit with sure tricks being true. Quit I want to play my lowest card. Quit editing suit attributes. Quit the editor. I hope you enjoyed this look at how Ray's Bridge Game plays the cards. Thank you for letting me show it to you. You can download the game for free from Ray's Bridge Game. The game is written in Java, so you must have Java installed on your computer.